Alrighty, now we're going to talk about, we're finished with art. I'm switching now. We're going to talk about the Enlightenment, despots, embrace new ideas. I hope everyone knows what a despot is, but just in case you don't, I'm going to teach you right now. A despot is a leader that has absolute power. A leader with absolute power. That's what a despot is. You'll hear that word a bunch. It's mostly used in history class, but this isn't going to be the last history class you take in your life, so you should know what that word means. A despot is a leader with absolute power. So during the Enlightenment, the courts became full of Enlightenment thinkers. They were just like showing up at the courts and trying to get people to change their minds. They would go and they would talk to the king anytime they could. They would talk to anybody under the king. They would talk to lawyers. They would talk to anyone that would listen to them. They'd talk to them and try to change their minds and try to get them to think in the Enlightenment kind of way. Which was, what was the Enlightenment thinking way? I hope you answered me right then, but the Enlightenment way was to make life better for everyone. Social justice, equality, help the poor, that kind of stuff. Be nice to people. Enlightenment thinking. Okay, so some rulers were totally, no, forget about that Enlightenment stuff, it's all horrible. But some kind of changed a bit. And we're going to talk about 3 of them. We're going to talk about Frederick II, Catherine the Great, and Joseph II. Frederick was in Prussia. Catherine the Great was in Russia. And Joseph II was in Austria. So because we're so close to Russia right now, geographically, you guys might not have this trouble at all. But when I was a kid growing up in America, and all of this seemed so far away from me, I had a whole lot of trouble between Prussia and Russia, and I didn't really understand the difference. So I'm going to take a second to tell you. Prussia, in fact, let me show you on a map. We can do that. Prussia, no, I know what I'm going to do. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you on a modern day map. Here we go. So Prussia is not exactly the borders of Germany. So don't think it's Germany, but it's about here. This is about where Prussia was, right here, where Germany is today. And then I'm not going to show you where Russia was because you should know where Russia is. And then Austria is down here. So Germany was Prussia. If you could like cross out Germany and write Prussia here. And Austria is down here. And then we're talking about Russia over here. So Frederick II was in Prussia, Joseph II was in Austria, and Catherine the Great was in Russia. Those are, you need to know these. You need to know Frederick II was in Prussia, Catherine the Great was in Russia, and Joseph II was in Austria. Now, gonna talk about Frederick. Frederick II. So Frederick II was absolutely, positively a despot. He had strict control over everyone. Everyone did what he said, and no one was allowed to not do it. If Frederick II told you to do something and you didn't do it, you were dead. Frederick II, a despot, very, very strict. But he was kind of cool, and he saw himself as the first servant of the state. This is how he thought about himself. Frederick II considered himself a servant of the state. Well, what does that mean, Mrs. Gibbons? That means that he saw himself as serving the people. He didn't think that the people were there to serve him. He thought he was there to serve the people. Frederick II thought that all people had a duty to work for the common good. He thought that it was everyone's job to make life a little bit better for everyone else. Doesn't that sound awesome? If everyone saw it as their goal in life to make the world a little bit better for everyone else, wouldn't the world be a better place? Well, anyway, that's what Frederick II said. He also openly praised Voltaire's work. Now remember, Voltaire, this is the guy that the church and the government despised him. They hated his work. And this guy, Frederick II in Prussia, is openly praising his work. He invited intellectuals from all over to come live in Prussia. He just put out the word. And he said, if you're an intellectual and you're a big thinker and you want to help move the world forward, come live in Prussia. We'll open our doors to you. Come live here. We love you. We want you. He reduced the amount of torture that happened in his domain. He allowed the free press. That's a really big one. That means no censoring. People could write whatever they wanted to write. He allowed that. And he also tolerated religious differences. We haven't talked about this much, but at the time in Europe, there were the Catholics and the Protestants. You don't really need to know too many differences in these two right now, but there were Catholics and there were Protestants, and they hated each other. And then under the Protestants, there were a whole bunch of different Protestants. There were the Anglicans, and there were the Lutherans, and there were the Methodists, and they all hated each other. They all thought that they were all worshiping God in the wrong way. I'm right, you're wrong. And they all were fighting each other constantly. But in some countries, didn't only allowed their people to be one. If you were in France, you were Catholic. Legit. You're in France, you're Catholic. And so, but Frederick II He allowed anyone of any religion. Can't we all just get along? Let's all be here and let's all be cool to each other. And we're just gonna move forward and make the world a better place. That was Frederick II of Prussia. Now, Catherine the Great. Catherine the Great was in Russia. She also a despot. Everyone we're talking about are despots. Absolute, total control of everything. She actually wrote letters with both Diderot and Voltaire. They were buddies. She was writing letters with him. The same today, today we're shooting text messages. So think of like Catherine the Great was exchanging text messages with Diderot and Voltaire. How cool would that be? Really, to me, that would be really, really cool. She abolished torture. Abolished means she got rid of. The other dude, Frederick in Prussia, he just made it so that they didn't torture people quite as much. Catherine the Great completely abolished it. No torture in Russia. And she also tolerated different religions. Religious tolerance. She was also of the, oh, come on, guys, can't we all just get along? Let's make the world a better place. That was Catherine the Great in Russia. Now, we're going to talk about Joseph II. Joseph II, a big thing he did was he abolished serfdom. I think I remember touching on this last time, but what is a serf? So a serf is a person that is tied to the land. There's a slight difference in serfdom and slavery. In slavery, the person is tied to the person. If I own a slave and I move to Astana, my slave comes with me. But a serf is tied to my land. If I have a serf here in Almaty and I move to Astana, my serf stays here. And the next person that moves into my apartment gets that serf. But like they're not allowed to leave. They're trapped to that land and they serve whoever the rich person is that owns all that land. Well, Joseph II got rid of that. No more serfs. And he ended all torture, and he ended censorship, and he made religious tolerance, just like the others. And something super cool that Joseph II did was he took land that belonged to the church. The church at this time was really, really rich, like crazy rich. And they had lots and lots of land that they weren't necessarily doing anything with. Joseph took that land from them, said, you can't have this land anymore, it belongs to me now. And then he sold the land, and he took all the money that he made from selling that land, and he gave it to charities that were actually helping the people. And that's like so cool. Think of a despot. We're talking like a strong arm leader that was taking land that wasn't being used and then not doing something crazy greedy with it. He wasn't like taking land from the church and building himself a new luxury spa. He took the land that they weren't using, sold it, and then used that money to give to charities and educate, like schools, charities, whatever, some kind of organization that was actually helping the people. And he was in Austria. Okay, that's my lecture on culture changes in the Enlightenment and how some of the despots responded to the Enlightenment. I hope you enjoyed my lecture, and I will see you in class soon.